Things are starting to take shape in the heavyweight division. There's a small storm that's starting to brew, and it has everything to do with the two champions at heavyweight, Alexander Usyk and Tyson Fury. The two men recently crossed paths at Fury's win over Derek Chisora in a trilogy match. Fury spoke to Usyk ringside, denigrated him, put him down, as Fury is known to do to people all the time. But what was very interesting is how Usyk stood there, though shorter than Fury, looked him square in the eye, nodded his head as if to say, okay, whatever you got, I'm here. And Fury went on to say other sordid things. But recently, after hearing Fury come at him again in public, it's been reported that Alexander Usyk has an answer for Tyson Fury. Now that is interesting. Let's talk about it.
For Spence right now. He's been throwing that right
Recently, Boxing News 24 had an article that talked about Alexander Usyk responding to Tyson Fury. And the quote is, "Borracho," meaning drunkard. "I'm coming for you." This is what I'm talking about. You see, because I have a feeling, a distinct feeling. I don't know the man, haven't seen enough on him. But Alexander Usyk is the type of guy, he can speak some broken English, but he keeps it short for whatever he has to say. So therein lies what's so interesting about him, because his choice of words in calling Tyson Fury a drunkard is spot on. Fury, who has had his battles with substance abuse, along with PEDs when it comes to the sport of boxing, and more. He's been displaying drunkardness at public venues. He was once caught recently drunk outside kicking taxis and whatnot. So it's obvious that Alexander Usyk has taken all of this into consideration. So enter Usyk now looking to lash back at Tyson Fury, because possibly and undoubtedly he's probably had his fill of Tyson Fury. So what's next, you may ask? it very well may be time for a fight announcement between these two heavyweights. According to the article, Alexander Usyk sent a message to the Drunkard, Tyson Fury, letting him know that he's coming for him next for the Undisputed Heavyweight Championship in early 2023. IBF, WBA, and WBO champion Usyk, who's 20-0 with 13 KOs, isn't sure if the fight with WBC champion Fury, who's 33-0 with 1 draw and 24 KOs, will take place or not, because it will depend on whether it can be negotiated. If it fails to happen, Usyk says he'll fight someone else. Fury showed very little patience in the negotiation process for a fight against Anthony Joshua recently, so it's possible he'll do something self-defeating once again by setting a short deadline to shoot himself in the foot. You mean to tell me that they're saying or trying to imply that Tyson Fury really doesn't want to fight the top opposition? Wow, go figure. Back to the article. Some boxing fans would argue that Fury's ego has gotten out of hand, causing him to expect the royalty treatment from all his opponents and sabotaging negotiations if he's not anointed properly. You think? It's very interesting, and this is not in the article, but my particular thought on that Fury has gone to great lengths to tell everyone who would listen that he's the man. But that's not necessarily true. Alexander Usyk is a more accomplished fighter. Be it that he's coming up from a lower weight at cruiserweight and now at heavyweight, he's defeated former unified champion Anthony Joshua twice in back-to-back matches. To the degree that it has made Anthony Joshua not only change trainers, but has taken time to reevaluate his life and his status. Tyson Fury, on the other hand, because the man burns the candles at both ends, you really have to question whether or not he is really prepared to deal with a fighter like Alexander Usyk. Usyk really is that guy, people. He really is. But back to the article. Usyk says he didn't step into the ring after Fury's fight against journeyman Derek Chisora on December 3rd because there was no agreement in place for a clash between them next year. If there had been, Usyk states that he would have gotten in the ring. Whether Fury would have attempted to slap him like he threatened to do would have been interesting to see. Yes, we negotiated previously. If he agreed, I would step into the ring, said Usyk about Tyson Fury during his last fight against journeyman Derek Chisora on December 3rd. Luke, I'm coming for you. Obviously, I've been coming for him for a long time. Borracho, meaning drunkard, I'm coming for you. A lot of things were said then, something like he would slap me in the face. He changed his mind after getting his buttocks burned. I've been balanced and ready to hear all the stupid things he likes to say. I'm sure the agreement will be with Fury or someone else. I just must be in good form. Obviously, he's difficult. He's a much smarter than he looks and behaves. He's a tricky boxer as well. I believe that is an underlying statement about Fury being a cheater. The way he puts psychological pressure on his opponents is clear to me. Fury is hurling insults at me, but I know what to do in the ring. Rage doesn't help when fighting. It worsens the condition. Absolutely. Spoken like a true sage of the sport. Lastly, he says, I'm motivated by my opportunity to fight against this giant. Although there are some people who are not so optimistic about my chances, it has no matter for me, said Usyk. Now, my final thoughts on this. This has the makings of a very interesting bout because David and Goliath, and for those who want to deem Tyson Fury a great boxer, you're going to see the difference between a really skilled boxer, capable and experienced, who has won and fought at high levels throughout his career, and someone who has had advantages simply by size and reach. Something far different. And the internal makeup of the individuals. You have to remember that in the sport of boxing, class and character tells all. And we do know that Alexander Usyk is of upstanding quality in those areas. Tyson Fury, say less. But to put these two against one another would be great because it will finally bring about an opportunity for Undisputed to take place in the heavyweight division. And remember, people, as the old adage goes, as so goes the heavyweights, so goes the rest of boxing. I believe this is a good matchup. I believe the two contrasting styles, sizes, and character of men will be on display for the world to see. And Usyk is not a man that's just going to give in because Fury has size, reach, and weight. He has moved greater obstacles in his career, and Tyson Fury would be the ultimate cherry on top. Fury, on the other hand, has really expressed he really doesn't care about being undisputed. And guess what, people? I believe that's true. Otherwise, he would have jumped at the chance to make this historical fight happen right away. Derek Chisora, Anthony Joshua coming off of a loss to Alexander Usyk and not Usyk? There's something funny about this. And you have to think that if you really put things together, it could be coming from one individual. That's right, Bob Arum. Bob Arum represents Tyson Fury in the US. But he has influence that reaches across the seas. It's time for Bob Arum to go, people. He's holding up a lot of activity in professional boxing. And though he may be an elder statesman and wily at the sport, some of his viewpoints and prejudices and biases have affected the sport so badly that all you have to do is look at his roster of stars that left the stable of Top Rank over the years. Names that are very familiar: Mosley, De La Hoya, Pacquiao, Mayweather, on and on and on. Crawford. We need to see the best that the sport has to offer. And promoters, managers, and matchmakers that are of the Arum ilk stand in the way of progress in the sport. A lot of the time it's simply so that they can hold on to whatever piece or slice of success that they have in the sport. But it is angled, it's biased, it is bigoted, and it's just time for change. The one thing you can say about Ed Hearn and Matchroom is when they match their fighters up, a lot of times there's upsets. They're not the most acute at matchmaking so that their fighters are assured victory. There have been upsets and there have been rematches. But I'd rather see that than fights just not being made because someone wants to hold a cornerstone in the sport, whether it be through the WBO or a particular fighter career being stalled out and progress doesn't take place. You have to pay attention to the climate, and it is time for a change. Arum and Top Rank are too much involved where the sport is suffering. And Tyson Fury, on the other hand, has had his 15 minutes of fame. It is now time for someone else. And who better than Usyk, the man who has an affable personality, he has engaging sound bites, and anytime you see he and those crazy eyes of his, you just never know what this guy is thinking. But I feel that I have a clue. He's crazy as a fox and every bit as slick as a fox as a fighter. And I'd love to see he take on the challenge that Tyson Fury would present to him. And I know that he is mentally strong enough to deal with whatever the borracho has to offer. Yeah, think about it. This is Stormy B Man. Let me know what your thoughts are about this. Leave comments. Shout out to the mighty LDBC and Liberated Perspective, a third eye view of the world. For more content such as this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Will this fight take place in early 2023? We hope to see it, and I'll be there just like you would. That's all I have for you at this time. Peace to everyone out there, and everyone please remain safe.